everyone, welcome back to the CollabCast. I'm Katie Cusack, this is David King, and we have Chelsea Heilmann from Square One Cafe in Schenectady. Welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, so we are very frequent visitors to what was formerly known as Happy Cappuccino Cafe in Schenectady on J Street, if those of you who haven't gone yet, and you've kind of revamped it. Can you tell us a little bit about like what that transformation was like?
So it's kind of crazy because, it feels so different, but at the same time, it's, I worked there for 3 years, so it feels, when I'm doing the day-to-day things, it feels just normal, like I'm just at work, but it's just kind of been, such an exciting adventure, and it's, kind of been happening in small phases. So we just did some like remodeling. I just heard from the contractors yesterday, so we're gonna have the food, start doing the food and everything, probably like the second week of March. So it's just, we've moved very fast, but that's kind of like what I wanted to do. We just kind of saw the opportunity that Happy Cap, had, and was there for 8 years. So it was just such a solid base, and the community, like you guys have been regulars, I've known you for a very long time, and just kind of everything, that Matt created, and we just kind of wanted to take it to the next level and just kind of transform the space into, kind of a more welcoming place, focusing on, environmental sustainability, everything like that. So, I'm very excited.
Yeah. So in terms of like environmental sustainability, and I know a big vegan menu is in the works.
Yes.
Can you speak to more of how that will develop?
So once we have the food, we'll fully transform to vegan. So we'll be getting rid of all milk, so no more dairy at all. Which will be very interesting. There's definitely going to be some people that are very upset about it. But now it's just kind of, we're moving in that direction, as a society. Like Starbucks wants to, get rid of milk themselves, in the next year, they said. So that's huge, if they can do it, why can't we? And there's so many other options out there. There's just so many things, so kind of, like why I have been vegan, I've been vegan about 3 years almost, and it's been, focusing on that, the effects that, animal agriculture, everything like that has on the environment. And just in terms of like, simple things like coffee stirrers, single-use sugars, takeout containers, sleeves, like all these things. So it's kind of interesting because, we took over and it's like, obviously like purchased as is. So, the cups that we have right now and like all these things, like everything is kind of like slowly being phased out. So like yesterday I got our first shipment of, 100% compostable cups in, just like little things like that you don't really realize. And it's like, in terms of like waste and like, kind of garbage and stuff like that, it's, hospitality is like the number one, like person that, kind of contributes like the most to that. And it's just like, you don't think about it. It's just like the napkins, people will take 9 stirs, for 1 cup of coffee and just throw it right in the trash. So it's just like things like that, and it's like, obviously like, I would love to switch over right now, but then it's, throwing all those cups away. So it's just kind of, and it's nice too, because like a lot of people do hate change, so when they walk into somewhere and, I'm kind of strategically sneaking it in, over the course of the next couple of months, it's like, if I make slight changes here and there, no one's going to notice. Now cat's out of the bag, right? But it's just things like that, like why not use spoons instead of stirs, just like why not get, things packaged in bulk instead of having those little it's just like little things like that, over the course of a year as a business, you look at and you're just like, wow, like, even like garbage bags, like the amount of garbage bags people use, like things that are recyclable. It's just crazy. And, I'm obviously like super, I overthink, you know what I mean? At home, when I go out to eat, I bring my own takeout container, I'm like, one of those people. But, it's just like if everybody, can kind of do those small things, and we offer the incentive, like you bring your own cup, like you always bring your own cup, you get 50 cents off, we don't charge additional for those plant milks, we want to reward people for being, conscious of what they're doing.
For sure.
So, it's just interesting.
Yeah. I actually was at Dunkin' Donuts the other day, just like driving on my way to work, and I had my own cup, and they were like, Like, the girl was, like, very confused. Like, for a second, she was like, oh, you get a discount for that. So, like, cool.
Yeah,
like, she was like, it was like she was learning the information herself.
Well, I don't have to pay, for the cup. So, like, I'm not charging you for something because I'm not paying for it.
It's like going to sit there in my cup holder in my car, and I'm driving around and looking at it, and I'm just like, ugh. Like,
and some people, don't really think about it. And two, with the addition of the food, it's going to be, we're looking into, so you come in, you kind of buy, this takeout container for, $5 originally. But then every time you come in after that, you bring it back. You don't even need to wash it. We wash it. We take care of it. So have the problem with takeout or, Tupperware from home. Nobody washes it. It sits in your desk, without having to bring it home and wash it and keep bringing it back. It eliminates, the kind of like chore that it is. So it's, a lot of people, I think, live a certain way that they do because it's convenient, and, Definitely. We're all, responsible for it. We all do things like that, but it's, if you can kind of make it more accessible and easier, people are, can be lazy. So it's, if you just kind of eliminate that, people will be more amped to do it.
Especially if people aren't aware of the alternative where it's like, oh, I'm afraid if I go into this place and I bring my own thing or whatever, they'll say no, because it's like that some people do have rules of like, oh, we don't see that as like sanitary or whatever. Yeah. But it's like, if you present that to them and you're like, no, you have this choice and you don't have to take this giant styrofoam container for this little tiny. Like,
and that's the thing. I mean, and it's as long as it is sanitary, if someone's using their own cup and you stir something, you wouldn't use the same, you know what I mean? And it's just about making that, kind of decision. But yeah, I think people do get freaked out about like, oh, I don't know if I can do this. And like people will like pull it out. Like, can I use this? Like whispering out, like, like go for it, So it's just,
I mean, it's funny because we are regulars, but we've always talked about, not to gripe about Schenectady, but we've always sort of wanted a cafe with more going on and, more options and be able to run over and grab something quick, but not necessarily be like the most indulgent chocolate chip cookie or whatever.
Well, and that's the thing, and I think, kind of the market for food in Schenectady, it's kind of the same, and I'm not knocking it by any means, but it's like, okay, you have 4 pizza shops, you have 3 sandwich shops, you're kind of getting the same thing, just kind of different. So, what we kind of want to do is just bring these really new, interesting, kind of like breakfast sandwiches and, breakfast items with lunch items, just very different things, that we all, get from like all local places. But just adding kind of a variety and, the people, a lot of people don't eat vegan because they say it's not convenient, it's expensive, and that's literally like everything that we're doing to prove them wrong. Like it's not going to be, it's going to be, $12 for, this hummus sandwich, which you can, when you're in a bind, you have to pay for something, but like, being a vegan and going out to eat, you're always punished for trying to, eat healthy or eat like cruelty free, even, like healthy salads. Like, it's like, why does it have to be, so expensive? It's not like, the actual like cost of stuff is not, that expensive. So it's like, we're just trying to make it affordable. Convenience is a huge thing. And that's the other interesting thing is, we're not really trying to, like, the vegans will come, every time a vegan place comes, like, they're going to come, we have a strong community, and it's great. And, that's, awesome. But like, we're trying to market, to the everyday, business people that are down here, it's just, if all these people who commute into Schenectady and work in Schenectady, eliminate meat 1 day a week. That's huge, huge for the environment. So that's kind of the market we're like focusing on. Obviously we care about the vegans and, but they're going to come anyway. We're trying to cater to the everyday people who don't know, when they think of vegan food, they're like, oh, tofu. And like, just like, it's weird and
so
gross.
Scary.
Like, oh, like what is that? And, we just are here to show them that it can be, amazing and affordable and convenient.
Right. That's what's so cool about like the vegan places around this whole region and like popping up and
Yeah.
and really opening people's eyes to what it can be, because and like giving people who don't eat meat the opportunity to like try menu items that they wouldn't be able to eat. Like I was telling David the other day, I went to Bourbon Wolves and tried like the French dip sandwich that Joey had
so
made.
good. I saw
and I'm
that
like,
on
I've never
Instagram.
had a French dip sandwich because
Yeah.
I like never could eat that.
Yeah.
So it was like, ooh, it's like I get the opportunity to try this in my own way, where, you know, that's so valuable too, where that's why it's so cool that this whole community
and
is
it's such a growing, you know, and even just, you know, I think vegans, you know, that's kind of a new thing, but, you know, vegetarians, that's been a thing. You know, in college I was a vegetarian for ages, you know, and it's just now, you know, you have those people who want to make the switch, you know, they're on the fence, like, oh, but cheese, you know, all those things that you hear, you know, but now it's like the things that are coming out, the products that are coming out, you know, the accessibility now, you know, the people that are producing it, it's being mass produced, so it is cheaper, you know, it's crazy. Like, I mean, even the Burger King, like Dunkin' Donuts, like, you know, they see the demand is there, and now it's just, you know, it's just, this is like, I think the beginning, you know, and it's
for sure.
Yeah, it is crazy what they're doing with the food, and you know, and you kind of, you know, there's people who, you know, don't eat meat because they just really don't like the taste of meat, so it's kind of like, you know, you can't please everybody, but you want to make the menu, so it's like, you know, somebody who wants, you know, a sloppy Joe, like that's on the menu, right? Like can come in and eat it and be like, oh wow, this tastes just like from when I was a kid, but then, you know, you have something that's, you know, not that fake meat, or, you know, with the fake cheese, you know, it's like a healthier kind of option, you know. So it's just like having the variety, but options, yeah, exactly, yeah.
Oh, that's great.
Yes.
Well, and so what's the timeline now? I know you're talking to contractors and you're getting things.
Yeah, so
But your doors are open and you're serving coffee right now, but.
So I'm hoping probably the second week of March. Like, they're aiming for construction end of February because we're trying to do it, you know, this month's very slow. Obviously, the weather, you know, it's a short month. It's a slow month. So they're going to try to get in there end of February. I think, you know, for a week, we're going to do some just like testing, you know, to customers, get some feedback, just try to, you know, make sure like the flow of everything in the kitchen is working, you know, because it is about, you know, being fast as well. In Schenectady, people only get, you know, that small, you know, lunch break. And then probably I want to have like, you know, a full, you know, like release and like, you know, ribbon cutting, you know, all that kind of stuff, you know, probably like second week of March.
Cool.
Yeah, it's fast.
Quick.
People told me I was crazy. People told me I was crazy, but yeah. But I mean, yeah, you know, now it's just, yeah, like we want to do it, right? Like I don't want to sell milk anymore, like, you know, and that's the thing, I can't really take that milk away without having, you know, something else to offer. So for me, like the sooner it can, you know, get out of there, the better, because it's, you know, for something that I don't believe in, you know, I have to buy, you know, and like, you know, turn around and sell it. Like, to me, it's just, and I'm like, okay, you know, if I only can do this for 2 months, that's perfect. Like, you know, so.
Yeah. And I mean, for what it is now, it seems to be flowing so well. I think it's been super valuable to like have the same customers.
Oh, exactly.
Feel so comfortable in there.
And I mean, even now, right? So I am, you know, this month our special is an oatmeal raisin cookie latte. So I'm just serving with oat milk, you know, no one even knows. Like, now my secrets are out. But, you know, but it's funny because, you know, people, and that's the thing, you know, you tell somebody something and then they go into it thinking like, oh, this is going to be, you know,
they're
like,
looking for the
they're
off
looking
taste.
for, exactly. You know what I mean? They're looking for it. And, you know, it's like, oh, well, I don't like oat milk. Oh, well, you have been drinking it all February long. Surprise, you know? So it's just very, you know, and it's just, we just want to show people that it doesn't have to be bad, you know what I mean? You can, you know, there's good vegan creamer out there, you know, there's all these things, like, you can have caramel without dairy, like, just like little things like that, you know, that really, people are just afraid of for whatever reason, you know?
And so what, I know you're going to bring in local stuff. Is there a plan on how you're going to, I mean, we've talked a little bit off camera about some of the places you sort of wanted to get from, but is there going to be a process of like reaching out to other local places, or do you have pretty much everything?
So I have some, I mean, so obviously Bourbon and Wolves, a lot of stuff from there. Rock Hill Bakery, so they just opened a full scale, which looks amazing. I know. I'm like, I gotta get to all these places. So they just opened, last week. So we get everything from them right now. All the cookies, everything. So everything is vegan, and that's the thing. Those cookies we've been selling for 3 years, and they've been vegan. And now that articles came out in the paper about how we're doing this, people are shocked. Like, this cookie is vegan. And I'm like, yeah, and they're like, what? Like, I'm like, yeah, it's been this way. So we'll continue to use them. We still use Cider Belly. We get all their vegan donuts. Rock Hill is a great bakery for bread.
Yeah, their bread is.
West End, they do, some really good gluten-free bagels, just regular bagels. Just, kind of sticking with the same vendors that we do. We just recently switched to Stacks Espresso.
Nice.
Love them.
I didn't know that.
Love their coffee.
Coffee is dangerous. It's I love it. But the other day and this has happened to me twice, where I'm like, I'm going to go over to Stacks before an interview, and I'm like, ooh, a tub of cold brew. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and that's, and I love, I've known Ron for a very long time. We actually, worked with the same coffee guy years ago in Saratoga. But yeah, their coffee is just, they're a really cool company. They're small, they're local, same thing, no one, Schenectady is just this kind of like lost, there's all these great places and, nobody carries these people in Schenectady. So it's kind of like, making it a destination. Like, you don't have to go to Albany to get this amazing coffee. You don't have to go to Troy to get, Bourbon and Wolves. You know what I mean? It's just kind of making everything, more accessible. So we're going to do the cold brew kegs, the nitro, like they're giving us a kegerator. You know what I mean? So it's just like all these
so I can show up to all my interviews just twitchy and out of my mind. On a different level.
But yeah, just like kind of, and that's the thing, we want to keep it as the same, and I was like, it's so weird when, you take something over like the Happy Cap, people are so comfortable and they do hate that change, and I'm like so worried that every little thing, that I do, people just, regardless of whether they try it or not, are just like, nope, too much change. Like, I liked the old place, and it's just kind of such a, I'm like, oh my gosh, like, I'm going to lose everybody if I switch coffee providers, not because of any reason, like, and now, people are like, oh, Stacks, like, amazing. I love Stacks, and it's just like, these people just, are just nervous about trying new things and like whether they're going to like it. And I'm nervous about like, switching it and, kind of making all these changes. But yeah, like I said, we're doing everything, a little bit at a time. So when you walked in there, January 6th, when we open, you're like, oh, this is different, 2 weeks later, you're like, oh, this is maybe a little bit different. And, and then 2 months down the road, you're like, wow, this is a totally different place. Like, when did this happen,
Right.
Well, I mean, one of the things that I just love is seeing these places, that are creating amazing things, get their products out locally. And it is an economy of sort of like local camaraderie and respect. And instead of everyone using, what is it? Whatever the local, not the local, the national food distributor is,
Cisco.
Yeah, Cisco,
the
thank
old
you.
house recipe.
Yes. Rather than that, you can, hopefully rely on getting a beer from some local.
And it's like, in switching, like coffee providers or, produce like locally, you do have a little bit of a price increase, but for me, I'd rather keep it, in the community that's, like Bourbon Wolves has created such a, they started from, like nothing, and like now they've grown exponentially, and it's like, why not support them instead of trying to, Cisco sells, Impossible Burgers, but it's like, that's a national, a food thing, like corporation, and it's like, why not stick local, and help, the community. Like, these people are young professionals like us, just trying to make it.
Definitely. Yeah, and it's like a very specific, personalized, really for the region kind of flavors that are happening, which is cool in itself that we trust in those things so much and we like them so much that we want to have them everywhere.
Exactly,
So it's like, it's really cool that people are stoked that Stacks coffee is like going to be served in Schenectady and that they can get Bourbon Wolves products, because it's like, how cool that these places have had people put so much trust in their product and like really come back for more all the time. That we can just keep growing like that.
And it's like great. That familiarity, it's like, oh wow, like, I go to Stacks every morning for my coffee, now I can go here, and it's just, but also, you can try something from Cider Belly, like, so you've never had a donut from them, and it's just like, I just think that, buying local is just, it's just such a better way, to do things. Like, and that's, that's kind of the difference between, the food that we want to, have and the food that's around, is just, I can order everything, off a truck, or, spend a little bit more and make it, and it's better for you, more environmentally sustainable, and just the quality is better, it's not just loaded with garbage.
It's
I mean, like,
yeah,
it's like, so cool. I'm very excited for the food.
Yeah. And it's cool to see more places like in Schenectady being like, walking around and just seeing like locally, I guess, prioritized places where it's like, there are a good amount of chain places or sort of like bigger places, and you just are kind of tired of it, and you want a change, and so it's cool.
And I think like Schenectady, was kind of like on the beginning of that. Like I think, like people are like, you're gonna, this is crazy, like vegan place in Schenectady, like good luck, I'm like, it's probably a little bit out there, but I think in 3 years Schenectady, the downtown, is going to be a completely different place than it is at now. And I think we're moving in that direction where like you see more like local people popping up, like a skincare shop, or like this very like unique product, and you're like, oh, this is like kind of like bold, and it is bold, but it's kind of going in that direction. There, the apartments that are being built, like the walkability, like everything is becoming more of an actual downtown,
Yeah,
and even adding more retail shops, like and people are like, oh, what if we get another coffee shop? It's like that's great, like what I mean. Like people like options, I'm not gonna freak out about it. It's like you want to have the more shops the better, then more people come down here, like even like the markets in the summer, like taking off like exponentially, and it's just now it's become like a destination, so it's just very interesting. And
a shop like yours can get people from like Union who might not otherwise come downtown or want to explore to actually start using
I mean even ways. Too like the Rotterdam area, the Scotia area, those places like that, there's nowhere to get any kind of vegan food, like, so even like, the Grubhub, the DoorDash, all those things, it's, we're kind of catering to this side of town that, or city, that's kind of just like not forgotten about, but, it kind of lacks that, kind of shops that Troy has, that Albany has, the Troy downtown, the Albany downtown is just so much bigger than Schenectady. And, I looked at a place in Troy. I almost moved to Troy, and I was like, this will be like the third vegan restaurant here. Yeah. And I was like, and I was just like, what? I've always had my heart set on Schenectady. Like I'm from Schenectady, like Schenectady needs this. This is why I want to do it, is because it's not like I would, could be successful in Troy. Absolutely. Schenectady is more of a gamble, but we need it in Schenectady. That's why, I was like, God,
you're like
always came back to Schenectady.
Yeah,
exactly.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's like, I was recently talking to the people who just opened Bear and Bird Gallery down the street.
Oh, yes.
And like they, were talking about moving here from like Florida and just being like, we were here and briefly visiting family, and it just felt like there's something coming. And like that's a really cool thing to be aware of too, because I feel like that happens so much around this area where people decide
and
to
there is
such
a community, and it's just like working, at that shop for so long, it's just like, I was like, I could move to Troy, but it's like, I was like, I know every, not every single person that walks in the door, but 90% of the people that come into that shop know me, or, the people that work there, because they've been there for so long, and it's just, you have that, you know what I mean? I see those people and I see my family, and it's like, it's great. And, it's just, I wanted to keep that community. And that's, you kind of have that relationship, where you can get people to like, try something different, I'm like, hey, why don't you just like try this like oat milk today, why don't you try this vegan donut? And they're like, oh, like it's gonna, and it's just about the interaction that you have too, like, I can make you a horrible cup of coffee. It could taste like garbage. But if we have a positive interaction, you leave there thinking like, oh, this is, this was amazing. This was great. Like, what a nice environment. Like, what a nice vibe, and, that kind of, so it all kind of plays into it. So it's just very, I'm very excited about it. Yeah.
And just thinking about what it would be like if that place was gone, we would be completely lost.
I know. Yeah. And that was the thing too. Yeah. I didn't want to, I looked at another shop, just up here, the old Faux Queen location.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that would have been the easier option. The kitchen was already built. Like, could have just, and this was kind of, a little bit, more of like a puzzle and, a lot of different things to kind of deal with. But, I'm just like, it's such a good location, and it is. And the Happy Cap, was such a staple in the community. And I think when we closed for, that week to paint, I couldn't, like, I was waiting on some stuff from the city, so I couldn't put anything on. I was like, we're painting, and, everyone was freaking out.
It was traumatic. We showed up for a meeting. We're like, we're going to go have a meeting at Happy Cap and get out of the building. And like,
we were standing outside, and we were like, what's happening?
And, everyone's like, oh my gosh,
didn't know where to go.
Corporate sharks come in and, like, take it over, and everyone was freaking out. I'm like, no, it's just
I think it might have been raining or snowing, too, and we were just like...
Yeah, I know. And
standing
I was
there.
like, and that was the thing, even closing for those, 5 days, like, even with this construction, I'm like, we're no more than a week, guys. Like, that's, and that's it, because, there is no really kind of dedicated coffee shops in Schenectady. And, this location, too, kind of what I love about it is, we are adding food, but, kind of the way we're designing it is we have, we can seat up to 40 people, which is like, people are like, what's like, but just adding those like seats and, we're building like a little like, bar. So it's just, adding those seats. So, the people that come in and just buy one medium coffee and, do their work on their laptop for 2 hours can continue to do that. But you can also come in and sit down, have lunch, and spend, time there. And you're not losing that coffee shop vibe, but you're just kind of adding, that other aspect to
space.
it.
Yeah. Cool.
Yes.
Well, thank you so much for coming in, and we're excited to see it expand, obviously.
I know. It's like really soon.
Yeah.
And I'm like, end of February. People are like, oh. And I'm like, oh, yeah, you're right. Like, it's February now.
It's a short month. Yeah.
I know, but I can't wait.
Yeah. Well, good. I'm glad. Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you guys for having me.